You've played the missions, but do you really know the lore?
We are here to be your guides, your guardians.
This is Guardians of Lore. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Spartans. Welcome to Spartans of Lore. This is episode 117, recorded June 20th, 2021. The topic for this episode is Halo. Because it is. I am your host for this episode, and my name is Orchid.
And I am Elemist.
Yay!
I just love how enthusiastic you sounded.
This is everything
This
I've
is
always wanted.
Halo.
Well, I can't just shriek. It would just break the episode. I'm so excited. We have a couple of guests with us. We haven't had guests in forever, I feel like. Special guests, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, this is Penn's Halo.
Hey there, guys. This is Rendell Zivas.
Yay. Special guests. I love special guests. It's like my favorite thing ever. Okay. I have some podcast info. We encourage feedback. It can be sent to us on Twitter at guardians_lore. We did not change our Twitter handle for this episode. Don't worry. You can also tweet at me at Hey It's Orchid, or you can tweet at Elemist at I_am_Elemist. You can send us an email about how awesome this episode is at guardians_lore@outlook.com. You can leave us a review wherever you can find the podcast. You can also find us in our Discord, where you can just talk at all of us about Halo forever. You can also find our info on thelorenetwork.com alongside many impressive lore content creators. We're also still there. Special guests, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Pens_Halo. I do have a Twitch channel that I sometimes stream on. It's just twitch.tv/PensHalo. And you can always find me lurking around in the Lore Hub Discord.
Yay.
I can be found on Twitter at Rendell Zivas, no space. And in addition to this, I also am the main audio director for Destiny Lore Audiophile, which you can also find on various podcasting places. I too can also be found lurking around on the Lore Hub Discord, either posting very horrible memes or reacting to them.
Oh, God. I thought you were going to say skulking around for a second. I was going to be like, that's pretty accurate.
Well, I mean...
lurking is, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so this week at Spartans of Lore, the Twassle. Man, I like that so much better. Sounds so good. So Grandmaster Nightfall starts this week. Almas, you must be very excited.
I actually am.
Yeah.
For me, Grandmasters is the pinnacle of PvE. You would think it would be raids, but I've gotten so good at raids that those are just kind of like cakewalk for me.
Right.
So, like, Grandmasters is that next step for me. So I'm excited.
The master grows bored with perfection, and so the next challenge must be met.
Did you just call me
I
a
don't
master?
think I've ever... I think he did.
Oh, my ego is inflating now. Oh, gotta put that away, sorry.
Uh-huh.
Oh no.
It's a family-friendly show. Stop that.
God damn it.
Hardly.
Fuck.
So you're going to guild it right away then, is what you're telling me.
I am. And a lot of that is
Uh-huh.
going to be because of, like, my typical fire team wants to guild it, and I'm going to be dragged through it, whether I want it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, we stepped into a war with the Cabal on Mars.
Oh, don't get
Beat me to it.
I like the hidden Titan joke in that strike intro.
Uh-huh.
Zavala talks about punching through their defenses.
Yep.
It's a very subtle.
Well, he
Well,
is a striker titan primarily, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how he thinks. Oh,
Just
there's
shotgun apes his way through everything. It's fine.
there's a thing that is threatening us and containing the Traveler. I'll simply headbutt it. Or
Well,
at least that's what Asher Mir thinks.
he just needs to finish up the row that he's knitting before he does that.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
miss
wrong.
Asher.
No, you are not wrong.
I miss Asher, though. I'll just simply headbutt it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm mostly doing it for golf balls. That and
Doing
the
it for
Adept
golf
Father's Day
balls. As we're recording this on Father's Day. How topical.
Well, I mean, I got a dad
That's
bod,
true.
dad humor, dad jokes. Might as well just go the rest of the way.
Oh my
You know,
God.
without the
I
wife and
Just need
kids.
to rent the children, and you'll be perfect.
Rent the children. Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure my sister
I'm
will
sure you
rent
could, like-
her kid out to me for like $100 a day.
She'll pay
She-
you.
I was gonna say,
$100
she'll pay
to
you,
take it for
or-
a day. Yeah.
I'm not sure
Pretty soon this
which way it'll go. Whether she's paying me or I'm paying her.
I
if
think
you're
she'll pay you to take the kid.
okay, so if she's paying you to take the kid in to, be a dad, does that mean that you have to start up a service called Only Dads?
Oh, boy.
This is opening a real weird door. I don't want that door open. Let's shut that door right
yeah,
now.
let's close the door, let's lock it, and let's throw the key away.
Mhm.
I don't want that
Under the
door
mat,
open.
because then you can
Well,
just find me on OnlyDads at I_am_Elemist.
Oh no. We have a space for your own advertisement later on Only Dads, so where you can Rindle, you and Pens can also share your Only Dads profiles on there, because both of you are dads as well. So yeah, ew. Okay.
Oh, man.
Okay. Moving on.
Bungie also shared their toaster with us this week. The toaster came out, guys. The Jotun toaster, Yo toaster.
The Yo Toaster,
Um,
the Yoaster.
Yeah, the Yoaster. It burns a really cool tricorn emblem on it on your toast. If that's a thing that you want, the emblem honestly is you're buying an $80 emblem.
The only problem I
is
have,
the thing that you're getting.
like the only problem that I have with the toaster is that it looks like the rest of the toast is not, like the actual bread is not toasted. So it just sears that tricorn emblem in, and that's it.
Ugh. No.
That or it's just like super blonde toast.
Like it was on the lightest setting.
I'm sorry, blonde toast?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Lightest setting is where it's, yeah.
Is it called blonde toast?
I've heard it called that before, like if it's
Like
really, really
redhead
light.
toast?
Well,
Yeah.
Or like a brunette toast?
I gotta go find me some redhead
Are we-
toast.
What? What? I've never heard toast called blonde toast before, and I'm very intrigued.
It's like have you ever heard of like a blonde coffee? It's usually a coffee that's pretty
mean-
light colored. Yeah, because that usually has enough cream in it to make it not drinkable.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
Oof.
Okay. Yeah. But like, wow, way to call me out on that.
Right?
Cool.
I feel attacked.
I feel attacked.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I have a TikTok I need to send you later, Pen.
Oh God, no.
It's gonna be great. No, I promise.
Oh,
It's gonna
no.
be really good.
How much cream do they add? Just
It's so good. No, it's so good. It's so good. Okay.
I think
let's
conversely,
see.
it's more like how much coffee didn't they add?
It's so good. No, I'm gonna send it to you later. Let's see. They also changed a Nightfall reward rotation. And Elmas, do you have opinions on that? Do you want to explain what they did?
So
Please
essentially,
explain what they did.
what they did is they took last season's rewards. You know, the Swarm, Palindrome, the other weapon, Shadow Price. That's it. And
you know, the other one.
yeah, you know, the other one. And they are throwing that into the rotation, but all three of those weapons are going to be dropping on their own specific single week. So the actual rotation is going to end up being, for week 1, it's Plug 1.1, the fusion rifle. Week 2 is going to be Hung Jury, the scout rifle. Week 3 is Uzumi RR4, the sniper. And then week 4 is going to be Shadow Price, Palindrome, and Swarm. Now, when they announced this, they didn't say anything about altering the actual drop rates. So they're still going to be just as rare as they were before. It's just you have one of 3 that you can get instead of a selected one. I do not like that.
So you have 66% less of a chance to get something that you want.
Yes.
Is that right, Matt? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, if I want to grind out palindromes, I'm going to wait for that week, and I'm going to absolutely get Adept Swarm and Adept Shadow Price a lot more because I want palindrome.
Yeah. It's the whole, like, Bungie knows what you want, so it's not going to give it to you.
Right.
I'm looking at you, Nightfall, like Savathun's song reward. It took me 82 times to finally get Duty Bound. Fucking Duty Bound. So, Sag, if you want to buy the raid jacket in the raid ring, you have until June 30th to do so. So hurry up. I purchased it the day I got my codes, but if you still haven't done so, please do so. If you have the money and or the codes, because they are really cool. If not, and you have a code in a ring and you know somebody who wants them, share your codes with other people or put them on Twitter or contact me because I know a couple people who do want them and don't have codes. So, like, hit me up. We have also, there was somebody in the TWAB who is in our community who won Artist of the Week. Valor Agna, who is our friend, made a really cool ghost cape, and she was Artist of the Week, and that was really neat.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was.
It is really cool, and it was really neat to see her, and she was just, like, blown away, and we were blown away because her cape is really neat. So if you have a chance, it was in the TWAB from this past week. So she tweeted on June 15th, at Valor Agna, on Twitter. And she's posted it in our Discord in the Lore Hub as well. But she made a 1910s wrap cape, embroidered with ghosts. It was hand embroidered. She does a lot of hand embroidery, and her embroidery is also, like, it's always gorgeous. She embroidered it with silk, on wool with glass beads. It's very pretty. So if you have a chance, please go look at her creation. It's very neat. It's very, very neat. So definitely give that a look. Oh, I know what I forgot to put on this list. I did the lore panel this week for GCX. That was the thing that happened this week.
The big thing that happened to you, and you completely forgot about it.
Yeah, I totally forgot about it. Yeah, I did
That's
that on
on
Friday.
brand.
Yeah, I know that happens all the time. I did that with Bife and Mylan and Rhino and Baxter and
Psalm Labs?
Psalm
Yep.
Labs. He prefers Smart Joe and myself. And we talked about some seasonal things, and we talked about the statues, the darkness statues, and of course I mentioned the only one that moves is the one in the Deep Stone Crypt, and of course that's also the only one that you can upskirt. Coincidence? I think not.
Oh yeah, that totally threw them all off.
Yeah, they're all like, I'm sorry, what?
Yup,
That
that was hilarious.
That's completely and utterly on brand for me.
Well, they should have known.
it was
I
on.
should have known.
It was on brand for you, but like they didn't know how to deal with that, and it was amazing.
Yep. It
Oh
was pretty
my
great.
God, that was one of the highlights of that for me. It just because it was just
Yeah.
that look on Bife's face of just wait, what?
He's complete and utter shock and also like
Right.
joy of like, you said what? And also, oh, you said what?
Meanwhile,
Right.
Maddie's just
Hello.
over in his little corner, just like, oh God, here we go again.
Maddie just going, of course you said that. Fucking why? Why am I here? It's 1 a.m. I don't want to deal with this.
Having sat in, I mean, I haven't had a chance to watch that yet, but having sat through 3 of those, the last 3 Guardian Cons live, they should have known that somebody was going to do it. I mean,
Yep.
so
Well, they should have known inviting me.
yes,
So.
yes, they should have.
Right.
I don't know. All the comments I got from people separately were thank you for saying that, because it was the thing that made it fun, because people got bored, and I'm like, that's not a thing that should be said,
No,
because it was fun. It was fun to do. I had a really good time. So it was fun to have it was fun to watch all the guys interact together. I didn't say a whole lot because Baxter went on his tangents and Bife went on his being really smart, and Matt got to yell at Bife like he wanted to. He got to yell at me like he wanted to. And I think my comment was clipped too, so I think there's a clip of me upskirting the darkness statues floating around Twitch somewhere.
well, I mean, if it wasn't,
Undoubtedly.
I mean, if it wouldn't have gotten clipped, I would have been disappointed.
Yeah, I would
Right.
have been disappointed too, but I think it was clipped. But I think someone did mention also that I'm not fired from Focus Fire Chat because I decided to upskirt the darkness statues. So still not fired. I make sure to upskirt it every time I'm in it, just because it usually makes all the other people that I'm with question a lot of things. And I'm like, this is part of the lore. You can trust me because I'm a lore person.
That's like if somebody got stabbed at a restaurant and people are like, all right, is there a doctor in the house? And you're like, I'm a doctor of philosophy.
Yep. Exactly. I'm a lore person once in a while.
And I play one on podcast.
Lol. Yeah. I got 2 of them
Yeah.
once in a while. Anyway, so yeah, GCX is finished today. The space station I've still not seen because it's super broken.
Oh my God, that implementation.
Yeah, GCX, the fundraising event, is going until today, Sunday.
Until it falls out of orbit and lands in Australia and we get sued by them again.
Oh my God. It's it is definitely a thing.
Or it could fall on Europa.
I know they've raised a lot of money for the kids, and it's been a really good thing. A lot of crazy things have happened. I think Bife and Barb raised like $70,000 or almost $80,000
Jeez, get
I
on
think
that.
it's like $79,000. I'd have
That's
to check
amazing.
their Discord. Yeah. So the last thing, since this is getting a little long, we had some E3 previews. Since E3 was this past week, there are a lot of things happened this past week.
Oh yeah.
Lots of cool games came out. The Halo trailers came out, both for multiplayer and story for Infinite. Actually, the whole like Xbox everything, like the Bethesda Xbox presentation was so good.
Oh yeah.
Like, are
that
there
was
any
really
games that
good.
you guys are excited for?
Other than
Like, we're all Xbox people here.
I mean,
Like,
obviously Infinite, but the other one that actually
obviously.
That caught my eye, especially when I saw it last year, was it 12 Minutes? The one that's that like murder mystery one. That seems really interesting to me. I'm not like there's a lot of like zombie survival type stuff that I'm not a huge fan of, but Forza looks good if you're a racing fan.
Yeah.
Forza looks
Mm.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that. Like, when that came out, Rendell and I were watching the Xbox show together.
Mm-hmm.
We watched it at the same time and we're talking when it was on and doing like live reacts, and we were both just like screaming during like the whole Forza like.
Yeah, because I had read
It
like a
was so
rumor
good.
of it being in Mexico, and as soon as I
It's
saw
so
like a
good.
desert landscape and ultra realism, I was like, "No, shut up!"
Oh my god, it looks so good. I cannot wait. Oh my god.
The other
I
one,
love the Forza games.
The other one
Forza
that-
Horizon 4 is my
Yeah.
favorite games.
the other one that I thought looked pretty good was the Microsoft Flight Sim, especially since they're going to have a fighter add-on pack
For Top Gun, yeah.
Yeah.
As when I first got into gaming, I pretty much did flight sims. I loved flight sims, and even back then when Microsoft Flight Simulator came out, there were a whole bunch of add-ons for a number of different things. There was a World War II European theater, Pacific theater, and then also modern. And I just love those, and it's nice to see them bringing that back. So, although I would say the big thing that I came across from Xbox Bethesda is how big Xbox is going on Game Pass. I think that's a huge benefit. I mean, every one of those games is going to need Xbox Live. And if you want to, I think it's $15 a month now. I think it went up $1, but for Xbox Live, and if you buy 3 games, it's paid for itself. So,
and actually, Xbox Live itself, like all the actual online features, are free.
Yeah.
What you are paying the $15 for is Game Pass Ultimate.
Okay, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, like you're gonna have a ton of games at your disposal. I mean, there's that Tiny Tina's Wonderlands coming out. There's Far Cry 6.
What was the name of the game that you played a stuffed animal?
I honestly don't remember.
Simply because you could play a dog that looks like a corgi, it makes me want to buy it and play it. So yeah,
wasn't that Party Animals?
I think that's it.
That just looked like another version of Fall Guys.
Yes. Yeah, it was Party Animals.
Except you get to play as stuffed animals. So, I mean, like, okay, that seems kind of cute.
So, yeah. Yeah, some really good games are going to come out. I'm very excited. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all looking very, very good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I'm very happy. It's gonna be exciting. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's about it. I had one more question. If you've played Halo recently at all, and if so, what?
Halo 5 multiplayer.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah, mainly that's Halo 5 multiplayer, same Super Fiesta, Big Team Super Fiesta, Warzone. and a bunch of like Super Fiesta Capture the Flag.
Nice.
That's an insane game type.
It's so much fun.
Oh my god. I booted up Master Chief Collection and decided this last week, you know what? Like, on some off time, I'll go ahead and go through the Halo 4 campaign again.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's actually aged quite well, as it turns out. And
Oh, yeah.
Just, seeing that ending again.
That ending will put tears in my eyes every time.
Right.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
That ending is like the first 20 minutes of John Wick 1. You can't get through it without crying.
No, yeah, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
I mean,
you
and-
are
Definitely
not
not
wrong.
wrong.
And I mean, that last line that Chief utters, where he goes, he said that to me once about being a machine. Just like, Steve Downes delivered that so amazingly well.
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
I mean, Steve Downes and Jen Taylor did an amazing job in Halo 4, I think. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not a flawless game. There are very legitimate criticisms of that game. But the story in and of itself and how it was delivered was just great.
I had less
Um.
issues with 4 than I did 5.
Yeah.
5,
Yeah.
when it first came out, I played through the entire thing and it felt way too short. Replaying it with my work husband, and this was 4 months ago. It was actually longer than I realized.
It's yeah. I mean, Halo 5 is, like I've said this before. There are a lot of flaws in Halo 5, right? But overall, that campaign wasn't as horrible as some people make it out to be. I mean, to me, the worst part was how they handled the Warden fights. That was a pain in the butt. I mean, just, yes, let's face the same bullet sponge 4 times, and 3 of those times, let's go ahead and give you multiple of them. No.
No.
I'm sure we'll have something to say about that in a bit.
Yes, yeah, we will.
Yeah.
I have been playing whenever Griffball comes up. I always sink into a week's worth of Halo, and I don't even look at Destiny. I don't know what Destiny is. Like Destiny who, an entire week, because that's all I want to do is play Griffball. And I play a lot of MCC. I know the actual season pass. It's not really season pass, but
It's like a battle pass.
Yeah, the battle pass is contentious. A lot of people don't like it, but it gives me something to work towards. And I like having things within the game that I can kind of check off and having it be yeah, so in PvP, do these things. And I like being lol, I'm not gonna be able to do them, but I could try because I'm absolute trash at a lot of it. But I like the attempts at doing a lot of them, or in PvE, it's okay, do X number of missions, or do this many, firefights, or just do this many, whatever. And it's,
or hit these achievements or something like that.
Yeah, it's do these activities, and then you get I call them magic cubes. So you get this many magic cubes. You can unlock different things on the battle pass, and then you can get pretty emblems. You can get pretty outfits, and I like outfits because I like Destiny. And then it's pretty much the same thing in Halo. So I can just make my Spartan pretty. So it's just Destiny, but in Halo.
Well, I mean,
And that's why I like it's
That
It's
doesn't
all
surprise me.
I'm not
cosmetics.
wrong.
Yeah, it's all cosmetics, and it's designed to give people a reason to come back and play. And they're kind of doing.
I like
They're
it.
doing that with Infinite as well. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to purchase the battle pass, but once you purchase it,
Mhm.
you own it, and
Mhm.
you can actually purchase as many or as few battle passes as you want, and then you just decide, okay,
Mhm.
I'm putting my experience toward this one because I want this, or I'm going to put it towards this
Mhm.
because I want this,
Mhm.
and it's yours, and you can always go back to it. So
I do like the one thing I do like that in each season, for Halo, at least for the way MCC has worked, is that like once you unlock like a swath of them, like for each like level 10 through 20 or 20 through 30 or 30 through 40, you can unlock them in like whatever order you want.
Mhm.
So I can just say like that's how I unlocked like the emblem that I wanted. So like once you unlock that level, you can be like, oh, I just want this thing. And then you can just kind of like pick and choose until you unlock the next level. So it's like it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
So I actually really like the way it works, like a lot better than it is in Destiny. At least in that respect, at least. So it's pretty nice. But yeah. So I've been playing a lot of MCC. I don't play a lot of Halo 5 PvP, but I do play a lot of MCC Halo or MCC PvP. I'm trash at it. I'm full on trash at it.
I'll say
Are you
here.
I'm not good at.
Are you saying
I'm
that?
not good at PvP?
So are you saying that like you're saying you're trash at Destiny PvP, or
No.
where it's just like a
I'm
complete
bad
lie,
at-
or okay?
No, I'm bad at I'm bad at Halo PvP.
I just had to be
And
sure.
I know that when Halo Infinite comes out, I'm bad at that PvP. I know I'll be bad at it.
I just
I
had
will
to be sure.
horrible at that
Oh
PvP.
yeah, yep. I already know.
I know I'll be bad at that. Yeah, I know I'm gonna suck at that PvP too.
I'll still play it.
I know if
and I'll still
play it.
yeah, and-
Yeah, I'll still play it.
I will still play it, and I will still enjoy it thoroughly,
Yes. Mhm.
but I am
Oh,
under
yeah.
no illusion.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'm gonna play it because a bunch of my friends are gonna play it. I'm gonna be really bad at it. There's gonna be grappling hooks, and I'm gonna grapple hook all the things. And I'm gonna be really bad. I'm gonna be super bad at it, and it's gonna be so much fun.
Oh yeah.
And all I'm gonna want to do is play Halo, and I'm gonna be like Destiny who. It's gonna be great.
All
I can't wait.
all I want is one time in big team battle, I want to be able to grapple
Mm-hmm.
a wasp or a banshee and hijack it in midair.
I want to do that too.
That's
Now,
gonna be
what
awesome.
if that's actually an achievement?
It probably will be.
It probably will be. Yeah.
I mean, now to be fair, the other thing that I want to see is that as a counter, I want to see both of them have the ability to fling a Spartan off that's trying to hijack him.
Oh my god.
Because in
You just
game,
do a
can
barrel
go
roll.
it- yeah, you can do a loop or a barrel roll and in a banshee. So it's like, okay, you want to hijack me? Do that and see if it flings you off and sends them flying. That would be kind of cool.
That would.
Anyway.
That'll bear some experimentation on release.
Oh
Yes. Okay. So let's go into a Lore Network ad, and then we will go into Halo. Halo.
The Lore Network.
Tune into the Spinfoil Theory podcast for questions. Who is an orc? Who's an orc? What is an orc? What is that? For queries.
Did the Hive really just body shame the Vex into changing their frames?
For special guests.
All the guests.
For Spinfoil Theories. Mara
Even Levante
Salvis
is Savathun.
The Spinfoil Theory podcast. Insert information here. So he didn't give the information. Give the information.
Oh, Spinfoil Theory is available on Spotify, iTunes, and Podbean. You can also get us at Twitter at Spinfoil Theory and or spinfoiltheory@gmail.com.
Was that not the best lore network ad you've ever heard in your entire life?
Oh my god, the
Absolutely.
quality of that ad.
My earballs.
Brief intro into the topic. I'm not as eloquent as Elmist is when he usually writes these, so mine says it's Halo. What the fuck do you want me to say, nerds? Literally what I wrote. There are no lore readings for this episode because it's a special episode.
Now, is that a special
So-
episode or is it a special episode?
It's not. Why are you putting quotes around it? This isn't a
What the
short bus
hell does
episode.
that mean?
This episode, we're going to go through the history of Halo universe itself, kind of the Halo without Master Chief, and then the Halo universe / like in the history kind of Master Chief. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
There's a greater kind of history of like the Halo universe of essentially what happens with like
In short, we're going to be speed running the Halo story.
Yep.
speedrun the Halo story. There's actually a really great little like 3-minute. This is what happens in the Halo universe thing you can watch on YouTube that I actually really like. So we're gonna speedrun that.
Essentially, we're doing world building, and then here's the cast, and let's focus on the main character.
Pretty much.
That's pretty much actually. Yeah. So we're gonna do world building. We're gonna talk about like the very important people of Halo, which are just gonna be essentially Master Chief, Cortana. Go through that, and then we're gonna talk about the 5 main games themselves, and then touch on the other 2, which is Halo 3 Sad Jazz and Halo Reach.
Halo 3 Sad Jazz, also known as ODST.
Mm-hmm.
ODST just stands for Sad Jazz in Latin.
Odds.
Yeah. It's a really ancient translation
Uh-huh.
of Latin. It just means sad jazz. You
I'm-
trust me on that? I went to a Catholic school.
I'm just impressed that, like, there was jazz that long ago.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that I'm gonna have to say, because I was also at a Catholic school, and I don't remember in any of my Latin classes having any instance of the word obst or
Well,
mention
I
of
mean,
sad jazz.
I
Mhm.
mean, to be fair, if you wanted to actually choose a language that it would either be like a Russian type language, or it would be Welsh. Because,
I mean, if it was Welsh, it'd be a bunch of silent letters.
well, yeah, there's that too. Because
It'd be ODST and then a bunch of like,
That's-
then a bunch of D's and T's and Q's and
QLT.
it'd be 18 letters long.
WTF, LOL.
OMG, WTF, BBQ, LOL.
BBQ.
yeah, pretty much, yes.
Sorry, Welsh people. Davey's gonna hear this. He's be like, "My wife has words for you."
Oh no, it'll be Receptor 17. Receptor.
And those could be sent
Sorry,
to
Davey.
at Hey It's Orchid on Twitter.
That's okay. BK can pronounce all of the Welsh for me. Anyway, let's go into the history of Halo.
Yay.
Okay.
Who wants to start? I did really good notes, guys. You have no idea how long these took me. We can just throw ourselves into it.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right. So the Halo universe is essentially has the same general history as our current universe up until a certain point, but the foundation of our universe was by a species known as the Precursors. They were transcendent, meaning they could change into whatever they wanted. They came in, they created all the life in our galaxy, and one of the first races that they created were the Forerunners. The Forerunners were the military arm of the Precursors. They could make great engineering marvels. They could build planets. They could build like star roads and things like this using neural physics. And that's the term that they use in there. And then they also made humans. The whole founding premise of the Precursors was something known as the Mantle. Essentially, it was just a philosophy of how to safeguard the galaxy. The Precursors took a kind of a holistic view of it. They said, you kind of let people live as they are, and you only step in if something really, really horrendous is going to happen to prevent like the killing of all life. The Precursors wanted to pass on the mantle to one of the races that they created to carry on. The Forerunners thought it was going to be them. However, the Precursors chose humanity. This angered the Forerunners, and also they thought that the Precursors were going to kill them. So they waged war on the Precursors and essentially defeated them. The Precursors retreated, and they used their ability to change themselves into an inert dust and allowed themselves to float off into the galaxy. This would come back to bite the entire galaxy in the ass shortly. The Forerunners then took the mantle of responsibility. Instead of adopting the Precursors' way of viewing it, the Forerunners took a very strict view of managing the entire galaxy to the point of preventing certain races from gaining certain technology levels so they wouldn't compete against the Forerunners. Humanity was one of the ones that they kind of butted up against quite a bit. As it would happen, humanity at some point found these ships floating around that had all this inert dust in it, and did some testing, said, oh, there's nothing wrong with this, but when they applied it to these pets called Feru, it found them to make some very docile. So this is, as Blue Crew 86 put it, this is the beginning of the zombie dust dogs. The dust was the Precursors. It unfortunately had become corrupted in its time in stasis, and eventually what it caused the Feru to develop into was the Flood. The Flood then attacked humanity. Humanity fights it. They go to retreat. Now, in their retreat, they come up against Forerunner worlds because they're trying to get away from the Flood. Now, the Forerunners don't realize what the humans are fighting against. They just see the humans are encroaching on their territory and they wage war. It doesn't help that the Flood would attack Forerunner worlds. Humanity would then come up and destroy those worlds to prevent the Flood, but all the Forerunners saw was, oh, you're attacking our worlds. Eventually, the Flood retreat, but humanity is so weakened that the Forerunners defeat them. The Forerunners had become aware of the Flood, and it appeared that somehow humanity had developed a immunity to the Flood. In response to what they perceived as human aggression, they devolved humanity into a pre-technological state and limited them to one planet, Earth, and also they were studied on a number of different Forerunner installations. The Halo Rings, also the Arcs, which are the places where the Halo Rings were actually created. However, the Flood came back, and they were playing possum, so they came back and attacked the Forerunners, and in response, the Forerunners developed the Halo Rings. The Halo Rings are a weapon of mass destruction, and what they do is they'll send a pulse out. There are two different series of rings. That was a total of 12, if I remember correctly. That got reduced to 7. No, I think it was 8. I'm sorry, 18 that was reduced to 7. My apologies. It ended up that these rings would be placed throughout the galaxy, and when they fired in a radius of about 2,500 light years, I think, if I remember correctly. In any event, they would overlap, and what they would do is they wouldn't kill the flood, they would kill the food that the flood used, which was any sentient life. And it would essentially starve the flood. This was like I said, a weapon of last resort. It ended up that they reached a point where they had no choice. A number of Forerunners. Now, in light of this, what the Forerunners did is they went out and collected samples of all the species, got them out of the range of the Halo rings, and then fired the rings. This wiped out all life in the galaxy. The Forerunners had also seeded planets with a type of solvent, so when the biologicals would decompose, it wouldn't pollute the planet, and it would allow it to be able to be reseeded. The Forerunners then came back, brought population back to the different species to the galaxy, and then the Forerunners all left. So that's kind of the beginning part of it. Any questions?
No. It's very straightforward,
That
actually.
is, yeah, very, very well summarized. I'm not sure I could have put it much better myself.
I know, I definitely couldn't have.
Space zombie dogs.
Yes.
And
Zombie
mass
dust
The
dogs.
minute
genocide.
you said that, the zombie dust
Zombie
dogs,
dust
I
dogs.
texted Blue the minute you said that. And I just like sent him zombie dust dogs with like laughing face. Just like repeat it after that way too many times.
Zombie dust dogs defeated by mass genocide of their
Yep.
food source.
Yes, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty much.
So, okay, so as part of the reseeding of the galaxy, there were a number of other races other than humanity. Two of the primary ones were the Shanshayum and the Sangheili. These are known in game as the Prophets and the Elites. There are also jackals, grunts, brutes, and Letgolo, which are the hunters. Anyway, these races were aware of the Forerunners. They viewed them as gods. After some infighting, they essentially all started to join together to form a large covenant with the idea of this thing called the Great Journey. Meaning they, in reviewing everything that they had, they misinterpreted some of the stuff, and they felt that the Forerunners left on this great journey, and the firing of Halo rings would allow them, to ascend to godhood, not wipe out everything in the galaxy. So it ends up that most of this stuff comes from a Forerunner AI known as Mendicant Bias. One thing I probably should have mentioned before is the Forerunners created Mendicant Bias to try to defeat the Flood. Mendicant Bias was corrupted by the Flood and joined them, and was only defeated by another AI known as Offensive Bias that was kind of limited in its that its goal was to only just defeat Mendicant Bias. A piece of Mendicant Bias was left on the Prophet homeworld. Prophets found it. This was they called it an oracle. They misinterpreted some of the stuff, and that's why they came up with their version of the Great Journey. It ended up that Mendicant Bias, the Covenant come across the world of Harvest, and discover humanity, but they detect that there's a bunch of Forerunner relics on Harvest. This ends up, Mendicant Bias then proceeds to tell 3 specific prophets that humanity are what they're detecting. They're the relics, and humanity is the ones who are supposed to inherit the mantle of the Forerunners, not these other races. The prophets that find this are the ones that we know in game as Truth, Mercy, and Regret. Because they don't want to lose power, they say we must destroy the entire human race to prevent the truth from coming out. This leads to the the Human Covenant War, and essentially leads us into where we end up at the very beginning of the Halo games.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we have the general life and times of the Master Chief, who was abducted at the age of 6 by the UNSC, and then was placed into the Spartan 2 program, which was developed by Dr. Catherine Elizabeth Halsey, in an effort to create super soldiers. At the time, the Covenant was not even a thing that humanity was aware of. This was actually in response to an insurrection that was occurring within human-controlled space, specifically from the outer colonies. There was quite a bit of training. The Chief, along with all of his fellow candidates, underwent augmentations, which caused many of the candidates to either be horrifically malformed or die. And that is when the contact occurred on Harvest.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to the year 2552. The Human Covenant War has been ongoing for 27 years at this stage. And this is where the games begin.
There's some really important people that we should probably mention at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you've already mentioned Master Chief on there.
Yes.
Catherine Halsey.
Mm-hmm.
Again, she was the lead scientist for the Spartan 2 program that was authorized by ONI, the Office of Naval Intelligence. Cortana. Cortana is a human smart AI. Quick definition. Between the Halo universes, you use two types of AIs. There's smart and then there's dumb. Dumb AIs are experts in a particular field, medicine, spacefaring, and they're usually created from a computer program. They're a computer program, and that's essentially given sentience. Smart AI is what they do is they take a human brain, a brain from a deceased human, remap it, and then run it through a converter to make an AI. Smart AIs can have an unlimited ceiling on what they can learn, but they have a lifespan of 7 years. Cortana is a little different because what Catherine Halsey wanted to pair the best AI she could with her Spartans. So what she did is she cloned her brain. She essentially cloned herself and made 20 clones of her, mainly her brain. And then through some advanced technology, mapped all the different parts of her brain and transferred them over to those other clone brains. The first one, labeled H1, was then run through the process and became Cortana. This is Master Chief's companion throughout the Halo CE 2, 3, and 4. And fun fact, Cortana and Master Chief were really only paired for about 3 months.
Really?
You know, if you look at, Cortana.
If you look at the overall timeline,
yeah. She was paired in 2552 with Chief. We're getting a little bit outside of the games, but yeah, she was paired with Chief for essentially a really short period of time. However,
like early September 2552, if I remember right.
Yep.
Holy crap!
She had a unique. She was unique in the fact that she was already exceedingly compatible with Chief, and through just a quick buffer change, she made sure that she was 99.98% compatible with Chief. So essentially, this is going to sound weird, but she essentially became a soulmate to Chief because she was that compatible. The other two people would be Sergeant Johnson, Sergeant Avery J. Johnson, who is, if you've played any of the Halo games, you know who Sergeant Johnson is because he knows what the ladies like, and he's his character was actually based off of Sergeant Al Capone from the movie Aliens. He's kind of brings a little bit of levity to the game. overall, but he's also an amazing character as well. And then the last guy is the Arbiter, Thel 'Vadam. We meet him in Halo 2. He was the one in charge of assaulting Reach and chased Chief to the initial Halo ring in CE. So we also follow him as well, and he becomes one of the people we play.
Mm-hmm. So I think that covers everybody.
Main ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that covers it pretty well.
Yeah.
Now, to be completely above board, I had no idea that the Arbiter actually had a name before the Arbiter, and I didn't know that he had a past.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from the initial, oh hey, you messed up, we are branding you.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, actually, he was not Thel 'Vadam, he was Thel 'Vadami, because of the honorific suffix that is granted to those Sangheili that are in the Covenant military.
Yeah. Actually, in the lead up to Halo 5, there is an ONI report filed by Jameson Locke that actually describes the history of Thel 'Vadame. So it's actually pretty good. It goes into full detail. And one thing about Sangheili is they're very honorable. If they've been compared to samurai, or the idealized samurai. So they're an exceedingly honorable race.
Very much so.
Very, very much so.
Mm-hmm.
So, should we just dive into CE?
Yep.
We should probably go ahead and just dive into CE, yeah.
Halo Combat Evolved is a very nostalgic game for a lot of us. This is actually the 20th anniversary of CE. It came out in November of 2001.
Mm-hmm.
So enjoy feeling really old for those of us who played it when we were kids.
Jeez.
Or for some of us when we were in high school. So enjoy feeling really, really old.
I was not quite in high school, but very
I
close.
wasn't either, but it was
Right.
pretty close.
Or those of us who were in their 30s and starting on their career.
We don't
Really,
hold that
really
against
old.
you. We don't hold
No.
that against you.
Yeah, thank you. Now get off my lawn.
Absolutely not. Oh, shit.
Get off my Halo.
Get off my Halo lawn.
You're not my dad.
So this game, it begins as we have the ship at the Pillar of Autumn. So it exits slip space, which is what they call essentially faster than light travel. And they see a giant ring world known as a halo, which they don't know what it is yet because they're just like, oh shit, this is cool. The Covenant is pursuing them, and there's lots of fighting. The captain, Captain Keyes, gives the ship's AI, which is Cortana, to Master Chief, who you are controlling. And he gives Cortana to Master Chief to make sure that that the Covenant don't find out where Earth is, I think is the reason why it's given to him. I believe so.
Yeah,
and then
it deals with something known as the Cole Protocol. Stepping outside the game real quick.
Yeah.
To prevent the Covenant from finding Earth, anytime there was an imminent, when it was imminent that the Covenant were going to take either a UNSC ship or installation, it was immediately supposed to self-destruct and or make sure that anything that would hold navigation data, possibly leading the Covenant to Earth, would be kept out of its hands. So that's why Chief is given Cortana in the game.
Yay. I remembered vaguely something. Half of this is going off of I've played this game enough that I am vaguely remembering this. Our notes are my notes are not very good. So I'm pulling this out of my butt.
You're doing fine.
Yay, this is great. So essentially Keyes orders to abandon ship, and they all essentially crash land on Halo. So Master Chief now is with Cortana, and they try to rescue as many people as they can. And Keyes has been captured by the Covenant because, of course, he has. I don't particularly like Captain Keyes, so forgive me if I am like, Captain Keyes sucks, because I think he sucks. But that's just me. Essentially, they don't want, at this point, they don't want the Covenant to use Halo because they want to stop the Covenant from using Halo, because no one knows what Halo does. So they are trying to find the Halo's control room. Cortana